Hello, everyone. Andrew here from the Indie Interview, bringing you another interview from an inspiring indie or an indie related topic. Today, I am really happy. We're talking to Spoon, the voice guy. Spoon is my number one place to go to if I want to get visible, and that will become very obvious in a moment. In fact, Spoon, do you want to describe what your Get Visible program is all about?
Yeah, so we're helping people over 35, often in their 50s and up, with getting more presence online to build their brand and attract more aligned clients. And so I started off helping brands source voices for their media campaigns, which hence Spoon the Voice Guy. Prior to that, I was doing not singing, had a #1 record and got into the music industry, and that evolved into me being an actor. So because of my presence in those places, my friends and people in my network would often come to me and say, Spoon, how do I record a video for YouTube? How do I even set up an Instagram account? How do I become more consistent? I'm scared. I don't know what to say. All of these questions. I thought it would make sense to put together a course that really helped them in a real simple way with aligning with their audience, figuring out what they want to talk about, overcoming their fears, and creating a consistent schedule for sharing the content that they want to push out into that space.
Yeah, because I can understand this completely. You know, as an indie, a lot of this technology that's out there is coming at me from all directions. I'm thinking, what do I do? How do I do it? You know, where do I go? And you know, particularly if you're in your indie years and you're setting up a new business venture, or even if you want to go out there and do something for social good, being able to get out there on the social media world is really important. So
yeah, absolutely. I feel that it's important for with any of us when we approach something for the first time. It can be overwhelming, daunting, and a bit scary. If we sort of reframe it and accept that the world is always going to be changing, and if we think back to when we first started business to now, and all the many changes that we've had and experienced, and how we've still been able to overcome them and move forward into other places, hopefully we'll start to realize that it's possible to just keep going. And when it comes to what's happening with social media, it's a great thing because it's a very easy way to connect with our audiences. I feel many people recognize that they're just not sure about what platforms to use and what to talk about often in order to attract the right people and create that presence in terms of their brand. And so I always recommend to actually roll it back and start in a very simple way.
yeah.
And recognize your worth. Recognize the fact that you've been in business for all these years. Recognize that if you haven't been in business, you have a ton of life experience that you can connect with. So start thinking about your passion. What is it you enjoy? What are your skills? What are your experiences? And once you figure that out of those skills and experiences, which ones really sit well with you, really excite you, really give you that tingle from the inside out? And once you start thinking in that way and start pushing out content in that way, the next thing is to really think about how people are responding. When you think about your ideal client and who they may be and where they may be, what is it that you feel aligns with creating a solution for their problems from what it is that you're sharing? So start figuring out how your passion aligns with your ideal client and the problems they have. And then double down, just really start figuring out a very consistent way to create the content and then figure out how to repurpose it across platforms. So start with the main ones. I like to start with YouTube and get really visual because video is so important. And they have over 2 billion users of YouTube. It's like a third of the planet at the moment. Yeah. So it's a great place to start. And then you can repurpose, you can break things down. You could use the text, you can make memes, you can go off to Instagram, so much easier, go off to LinkedIn and other places. Once you have a real strong idea about what you're passionate about, how you're solving problems, and how it is that you like to be you. And that's at the core of it. I feel sometimes we want to pretend to be other people or think we have to fit into being something else when all the value is with us, all the amazing stuff, all that juice comes from us in the first place.
Wow, there is so much in what you've just said there. You know, trying to unpack it about, I think you're absolutely right. You know, we've been through a lot. We've been through a lot of change, and we forget this. And this is just another set of changes on the way. But you're absolutely right. You know, the tendency with social media is to think I've got to be this. But you know, if you're you and you can put it onto the screen, or put it into messages, You know, that I suppose there's a truth there that you know, you can't get around. It's very authentic, as they say. It's very honest, and I think people will buy into that. So I get that, but the technology is a bit scary, isn't it? You were saying about replicating and memes and lots of languages. How do you help people with that?
Yeah, so quite rightly, that also may seem quite daunting initially, but quite simply, most of us have smartphones or a laptop with a camera on it, and that's where we start. We start with recording into your phone, recording onto your laptop, and often your laptop will come with some software. If you're using a Mac, something like iMovie or similar that you can use to edit what you have. One of the things I focus on is creating initially a script, an idea that encourages people to not only show how they can create solutions for people and show their passion, but also throwing very important calls to action. We want people to do stuff once they get the
Yeah.
content. So we then want them to go off to an opt-in page or a Facebook group where you can really have fun figuring out how to help these people in these spaces, add them to your mailing list, and then connect on a regular basis. So really, the memes and the names that we're given for things, is that you get told what they are. I share what they are, and once you know what they are and you're using them all the time, it becomes second nature. It really is that it's the first time for many to often approach these things. But once you have them and you do it, just like brushing your teeth or having a shower, the more you do it, the better you get at it.
So what sounds really great here is, you know, you've obviously had a lot of experience, you know, through your businesses, through your profile raising, and you're using this on a regular basis. So it seems to me that you're a personal guide really for a lot of people, sort of helping them along the way and using all this knowledge that you've amassed to kind of break down all this stuff and turn it into simple steps that people can actually adopt.
Absolutely. My whole thing is there's no such thing as a silly question. I'm also ensuring that I put into my personal practice time to keep learning myself. So I stay ahead of the curve to help my community and clients. And so what I do is mastermind sessions as part of the Get Visible course that allow people to ask absolutely anything. If they're still stuck, I can arrange one-to-ones. There's email support. I even have a WhatsApp group. So if at 2 in the morning you're feeling a bit unsure and you need something because you're in a different time zone, send a message, someone will get back to you. And that's what I focus on when it comes to helping.
Okay. So, you know, someone's sitting out there, they feel, you know, they're in their 50s, they're in their 60s, and they feel, well, maybe I can give this stuff a bit of a go. What would your tips be to get online?
So I would start with the main platforms in terms of where you want to go off to. But before that, as I say, it's so important just to sit down for a moment and figure out, first of all, why you're doing it. You know, are you trying to build a presence in order to attract customers? Are you trying to sell a product? Are you trying to build a community? Figure out why you're doing it. Once you've done that, then start to figure out where your skills are. Who are you? What are your experiences? What do you love about you and what you do? And then start thinking about the type of people you would like to have in your community, people that you'd like to work with, the clients you'd like to have, and where they may be, and what kind of issues that they may have that you might want to solve. And then you start to go off and do searches and look in newspapers and look online in different places to see what kind of things you would love to start talking about. And then you just start talking. You start recording, you get yourself a phone, and you flip it on and you just talk. You just talk about what it is you feel would be helpful to somebody, and really find joy in that, really connect with that feeling of passion and excitement when it comes to that. And you then, once you've got through the nuts and bolts of actually recording your video, just put it up on either Facebook or YouTube. And I talk people through how to set up accounts and all that kind of stuff, but put it up and make it available. And it's social media, so get social. When people drop comments, they start asking questions. Show that you know what you're talking about. Show that you're excited and passionate about what you're talking about, and answer their questions with that passion. And slowly you'll start to find that people will become interested in what you're doing, and then you'll be able to drive them to places. You'll be able to create your Facebook group or get your mailing list going, where you regularly connect with people, and then do your monthly Zooms or whatever it is you feel you want to do in order to keep them engaged and keep giving them what they need. So you create a win-win for you and them in terms of what it is you wanted to achieve in the first place. So I'd recommend to summarize, to start off by figuring out who you are and what excites you, figure out who it is you want to connect with and what their issues are, and then just start making as much content with a call to action around those issues.
So you're saying just do it, just get on and do it, and take, step by step, one step at a time, and get out there, basically, get visible.
100%. You will always get better at it. Sometimes we're afraid to do anything because we're worried about the opinions of others, and that's fine. Use that fear to drive you. Use that fear to encourage you to look into the value that you have. All the years again that you've been alive, you've been on the planet, all the things that you've been able to do, and how that could be useful to somebody. You may find examples of other entrepreneurs or people in your niche. People, for example, like Gary Vaynerchuk, big PR guy. If you look at when he started his first videos to promote his family wine business and where he is now, you'll see that there's improvement. You see that they weren't very good early on. And it's going to be the same. If you think about anything you started for the first time, you're going to have this curve of growth and learning and development. As long as you stay open to that development and try not to let the opinions of others impair your growth, that's great. The other thing is, actually, when people tell you, oh, maybe you could try this, or maybe you could try that, they come in, giving you positive critique, take it on board, because that's going to help you give them what they want. So either way, it's a win-win. Just get yourself out there, get talking, but just remember, only you can be you, and that's where your power is.
Wow. It's so much interesting stuff that you've just said about getting out there and trying. Have you got one last big sort of mind-blowing tip for anyone who's thinking of trying to be more visible?
Yeah, often people think about anything and a guru and a leader and a mentor being this person on the mountain with, sort of floating on a lotus leaf or whatnot, and having this amazing tip to offer. And I feel that at the heart of this for me is recognizing why you're doing it always, and being willing to adapt and assess that over time, and to be consistent. Consistency will do so much. I mean, there are other things like optimization and looking at keywords and other, nuts and bolts things that will be important, but knowing why you're doing it and being consistent with why you're doing it will really make a difference for the long term.
And if people want to get in touch and find out more about getting visible with you, is it okay to contact you, or how?
Absolutely, yeah. And so you can find me at thesuccesstips.com if you want to drop me there, thesuccesstips.com. Also find me on Instagram or Spoonface one.
Yeah.
And otherwise, feel free to drop me an email, info@thesuccesstips.com.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Spoon, for today. That's been really interesting.
You're welcome. I'm happy to help.
Thanks for joining us on the Indie Interview. For more information, tools, or to book one of our team to work with you or your business, or if you'd like us to speak at your event or conference, visit imnotdoneyet.co.uk. If you have any questions or comments, please email us at andrew@imnotdoneyet.co.uk. Please do follow or like us on Facebook or Instagram.